Hi, everybody. Welcome to First Church of Religious Science. Welcome to our Louise Hay class. We're happy you're here with us on this wonderful evening, whether you're joining us here on Zoom, as most of you are, or on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, X, Spotify. We want to extend a warm welcome to all of you, especially anyone who's new, who's here for the very first time. Our virtual community is reaching out to people all over the world, and we're thrilled to connect with you. If you'd like to be a part of our center, please be sure to send us in the chat your contact information. Send it as a private message. And when we get your information, we'll be able to send you our weekly e-letter filled with spiritual gems and also links for our future classes. First Church meets 3 times a week. Every Wednesday at 7 o'clock, Jimmy hosts our Creative Living series. Sunday mornings, we meet at 10:45 for a meditation and 11 a.m. for a lesson. And this evening, Thursday, most every Thursday, we have our Louise Hay gathering based upon the book, You Can Heal Your Life. And of course, most of you know, Louise Hay herself was a student here at First Church many years ago. Louise became a practitioner here, studying the very same classes that we teach. This is where she began her education. So welcome, everyone. Welcome to our Louise Hay class. Welcome to First Church. We also want to gently remind you that if you'd like to support the center in its work, you can. There are options for support in the chat room. Several times during the chat room, you'll see Jimmy post different ways you can support the center. Everything we do at the center, though, is offered freely, meaning there's absolutely no charge. So any support that you do is appreciated. It's considered a love offering, and it's deeply appreciated. Before we get into today's lesson, let's reflect first on a poem that speaks to the essence of our journey tonight. It's entitled The Turning Point. When life's a constant replay of fears and doubts that stay with you, remember, you hold the key to set your spirit free. In the darkest night so deep, awakening from restless sleep, there lies a spark within your soul, ready to make you whole. So as we gather here tonight, let's embrace our inner light, for the power to heal and to grow resides within, as we all know. Today's lesson is entitled, Enough is Enough. Now that might bring you back some 20 or 30 years to Donna Sumner or Streisand or something. Enough is enough. Maybe you're one of these people who notice that you wind up in the same situation. It seems like it over and over again. And you might say to yourself, as I have, haven't I learned that lesson yet? You wind up in the same type of situation with the same type of person. It could be with a relationship, or you've made mistakes before and you told yourself, no, 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 never again. And then you find yourself, there you are again. So this lesson, Enough is Enough, is for those of us who want to deal with some nagging behavior that's bothering us. Let's explore some common patterns that might resonate with some of us. This one's directly tied into the Louise Hay material. It's about self-criticism. Louise Hay very clearly said in so many different places, never, never, never criticize yourself. She said, no good comes of it. Never, 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 ever, ever. And yet, there's such an undercurrent of criticalness that are part of so many of us. Now, I know people have worked on themselves a lot, really have healed so much of this. But Louise would say the bottom line for everybody she ever worked with was this underlying negativity. And see, in religious science, if you go to Ernest Holmes, he'll say that's the one thing we're trying to get rid of in affirmative prayer. It's the time and the art and the method of ridding that negativity, that negative commentary So you see why every Thursday I'm asking the question, what has it been like being you? Because I'm wanting people to become aware of the negative tone, tenor, pitch, the criticalness of what goes on inside your own mind and thought stream of thoughts, because you can redirect that. So we're exploring some of the common patterns that might be resonating. Self-criticism is the main culprit. Where no matter what you've done, it's not okay. No matter who you are, you're not, in your own mind, right? No matter what you've achieved, there's still something missing. So just note for yourself where you're critical of yourself. Another common pattern that might resonate with some of us is maybe you're a procrastinator. Maybe you're continually delaying really important things. Maybe you're creating a world where you're always feeling overwhelmed, and maybe too overwhelmed to even start something. Another common pattern that many people have is a negative self-talk, which I think I've already just explained. Someone said to me, it was Bill Tolliver years ago, there's nobody nicer to be nicer to than you. So what's your self-talk like? Is it always thumbs up, green lights? Is that what it's like being you? Do you fill your mind with thoughts like, I can do this, I can do this? Or are your thoughts more like, I can't do that, I can't do this, it's too late for me, I'm not smart enough, it's too complex, it's just beyond me, I can't do that? All those are examples of negative chatter, negative self-talk. You look at your appearance and you're not satisfied with it, and you look at maybe the way you're maturing and the way you're aging, and are your conversations going towards the negative? Is your self-talk negative? If it is, just notice, because this is the class that's designed to turn that type of conversation around. Do you fill your thoughts with, again, I can't do this, I can't do that, it's too much for me? Or you might think, I'm not smart enough, I'm not capable, or it's too late for me. Any of that type of thing is what we're talking about. We're here to stop that. Stop in the name of love, as we say. Another characteristic that people have that you might want to pay some attention to is people pleasing. Are you always putting other people's needs before your own? There's a lot of people out there who are, I'll say, codependent, and it's really nice to be nice, right? And it's nice to be helpful. But in this teaching, we learn it's important to learn to love yourself first. And then when you have a full cup, you can share up yourself much more easily. So learning to love ourselves. Many people put other people's needs before their own, to their own detriment. Are you someone who does that? Are you giving only to get something in return, and you don't get something in return? See, if you're doing that, you're not really giving to start with. The idea of giving is you give and you have no attachment to anything in return whatsoever. You have no expectations. You give because you love to give. In religious science, we learned that life loves a giver. So whatever you give freely. That can be your time, your talent, your money. You give it freely without attachment. Do you find yourself saying yes to things you don't really want to do? How many times have you shown up at places and you thought, did not really want to go there today, but you went? Dinner parties, relatives, different functions, just staying at, just run it through your head. Do you find yourself saying yes to things that you don't want to do? And you do it maybe because you don't want to disappoint other people. And then when you go along with it and you do things to please other people, then you feel on edge or resentful, overwhelmed, or disappointed in yourself. So that's something that I'll throw out as a question this evening. Next is fear of failure. Do you find yourself ever avoiding new opportunities because you're afraid of not succeeding, or you decide you can't do it even before, say you start. Could be a job, it could be just doing something new with people. Do you avoid it just because you're afraid of the way you'll look, you're afraid you won't succeed, or anything like that? Perhaps it might be job related, where you've turned down job offers, you've avoided asking someone out, or you've turned people down who might wanted to do something with you, or you've not pursued your dreams because you've got a fear somehow of failing, or just it makes you nervous. You feel you'd be rejected, or there's something just holding you back. So we want to say enough is enough to all this type of thing. We want to become more willing to step forward. Maybe another pattern, oftentimes people are held back by holding grudges, resentments. Is anybody on the call clinging to any past hurts, comments? Maybe it was a loved one or an old friend. Are you clinging on to any hurts, any resentments? Are you finding yourself unwilling to look at something, or unwilling to forgive, unwilling to move on? It's really important that we do this work, because it's difficult to move forward when we're holding on to these ancient hurts. Do you find it hard to let go of a particular anger towards someone who in your mind you believe wronged you? So if you're hanging on to something like that, enough is enough. See, when these things are affecting our happiness and our peace of mind, it's time for us to take a look at that. Another area that we might want to look at this evening is, do you hold unattainable standards for yourself? Do you feel like a failure when you don't meet them? A lot of times people who grow up in families with a lot of rigidity encounter the word should. And we find ourselves, as we get older and an adult in our middle ages, that we're still living up to those inner commands that probably came from well-intentioned parental figures. Louise Hay would say, one of the words she dislikes the most is the word should, because whenever it's used, we're making ourselves wrong. So is there some part of you that says, I should do this, and I should do that, and I should have done this, and I should have done that? If you're doing any of that, it speaks to, there's this inner need for perfectionism. You wanting to have things be a certain way. And the thing we learn in life, that things are rarely going to work out that way. Are you constantly striving for some type of perfection in your work, or in your appearance, or your personal life? You want your family to look this way, you want your children to be a certain way, and you want it all to be the way you want it to be. And of course, that's going to lead to some disastrous results eventually. And so these are little areas that you can check off. Louise would say, I trust in the process of life to be there for me, and I let go of these things. Are you feeling bad or devastated when things aren't working out perfectly for you? Another area of trouble for people is they get all involved in other people's business or gossip. So the question would be, are you engaging in negative talk or conversation about other people? And if you are, that feeds a cycle of negativity in your own life. So that takes a certain discipline to stop talking about other people. It's a greater challenge to challenge yourself to find something good to say about everybody. As we've learned in this class throughout the years, life loves a lifter. In religious science, we learned that we're all lifters. So I was challenged many years ago to be a lifter, not a leaner. In other words, do your best to lift people up, not drag people down. We have all too many critics in the world. So we release the need to be critical of others, because we know that everyone's doing the best they can with the information they have, the understanding they have, the awareness they have. Do you find yourself getting drawn into conversations that put other people down? Whenever you see yourself doing that, Find a way. Stop in the name of love. Find a way to halt. Find a way to just in your mind, as one of my students used to say, next, next. In your mind, cancel, next. Move on to the next thing. Whenever you find yourself drawn into these types of conversations that are not life-giving, that are either putting other people down or putting yourself down, stop. Whatever device you have to do to stop yourself, stop yourself. Louise Hay would say, you begin wherever you are, whatever thought you're thinking, and begin. Cancel, cancel. Neutralize it, replace it with the truth. The ideas of truth are always going to be powerful. They're going to be whole, complete. They're going to be based on ideas of peace, love, power, wisdom. Turn whatever negative conversation that you have around. I mean, that's our job, is to change our conversation around. The person who's practicing this teaching is a person who's seeing the God, seeing the good, seeing the underlying truth of all situations, which means that we live in divine substance, we move in it, we have our being in it, and we want to continually awaken to that we're a part of it, and it responds to us. So if we see ourselves in a negative place, enough is enough, which is the title for today. Just say, okay, I release it. I release the need for this. I'm starting over right now. I'm not going to criticize myself for my thoughts, but I'm going to start again right now. Raymond Charles Barker famously said, yesterday ended last night. And there's a 12-step program which will say it another way. It's never too late to start your day over. So start your day over, and it doesn't matter if you need to do it several times a day. So if you're drawn into conversations that are putting yourself down or putting other people down, notice and simply stop. Stop without judgment, stop without guilt, but stop. If you find yourself feeling guilty or ashamed for participating in them, stop that too. We don't want to be hard on ourselves. We just want to change the pattern. Okay? It isn't about being good or bad or right or wrong. It's about, we have programs. There's a lot of programs. And when you focus on the truth of who you are and know that deep at the center of your being, there's this infinite, exquisite intelligence, energy in you. When you focus on that and knowing that you're a part of that, a lot of this stuff will just melt away because it's nothing. All these negative behaviors and what I'll call stinking thinking, all that stuff is like smoke that gets in the way of the light that you are. It's been described that way in the Four Agreements. You exist as light, and in a perfect world, you're reflecting light. In that book, they'll talk about the smoke that gets in the way, and the smoke is going to be all the beliefs and stories and pain and hurt and all of that, and the anger and the resentment. So we want to let go of all of it and be in a new moment, because in a new moment, you're free. Blaming others, we want to release the need for it. The question for this class is, do you shift responsibility for your unhappiness onto others? Your happiness is always going to be found within. Please don't make other people responsible for your happiness. It's an inside job. So we don't blame other people. We don't require other people to make us happy. Our responsibility is to make ourselves happy. Maybe you often think, if only they would do this for me, I would be happy. Or only if they stopped doing that, I would be happy. Or that you might think it's their fault that I'm in this situation. All of this is faulty thinking. Again, the responsibility for your happiness is your own. I learned many years ago that feelings, for the most part, this is true, feelings follow our thoughts. So as I learned to be a positive thinker, as I learned to practice the teaching, as I learned more about affirmative living, I developed what's called positive expectancy. As I develop positive expectancy, I become a lifter. Because in just about every situation, I'm trained to see the good. I'm trained to see even situations that look deplorable. I'm trained to understand and see that there must be good in this. There must be God unfolding. The spiritual reality is whatever is best. So again, we come back to Louise Hay. I trust in the process of life. Okay, other patterns. Are you evading difficult conversations or situations that you know really have to have? And are in so avoiding, maybe you're in a really bad relationship and you need to have a conversation. You're not having it and the relationship just continues to be miserable. So maybe it's time to have a conversation because if you don't have some conversations, the stress increases and things remain unresolved. So are there issues that you're avoiding? Are you putting off talking to someone about a problem that you might have, just hoping it will go away, only to make things worse? So these are some things you can ask yourself. Many of you will say, no, I'm doing fine, and I hope you are. But some of you are snagged in some of these things, I'm sure. So this is for those of you who are. Another pattern that many of us have is regarding to our work. Are you one of these folks who are using work as an escape for dealing with life, or dealing with personal issues or emotions? Are you a workaholic? So do you find yourself bearing your emotions in work, avoiding dealing with personal issues by staying constantly busy, always feeling exhausted and unfulfilled? Part of learning to love yourself is creating some balance in your life, where you're learning to eat healthy foods, whole foods, where you're taking care of your body, getting enough sleep, getting a certain amount of exercise to keep your body functioning well. So you might say that you're taking good care of yourself. Some of you are feeling defeated a lot, so if that's you, at least I want you to acknowledge it. This class is really helpful for people to learn how to take better care of themselves. Maybe you'll notice with some of these patterns, whatever it is, the pattern seems to keep coming back. Are you a person who struggles with weight? You lose weight and then you gain weight, you lose weight, you gain weight. Maybe you're having a tough time controlling whatever it is that's going on. I've heard many, many things over many years. People have had problems with honesty in relationships, for example. People have had problems with behavior, anger, retaliation. People get into the past and they review their life and they have a very tough time dealing with the things that they've done. And there's things that they lament and they wish they could have changed. So there's this whole reverse side to all of this, where the preoccupation or the need is to project inner hurt by blaming other people for all kinds of things. So we want to release the need for blame. When I was putting the lesson together, I remember a movie called The Network, and I had to look it up. It was 1976. It had an iconic character, Howard Beale, who was a news anchor who had a mental breakdown live on TV, his character. And during his rant, he encouraged his viewers to shout out in their windows, "I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore." Well, this class tonight's for anyone who feels that they've had enough. Enough of doing the same old thing. You've heard before, keep doing the same old thing, expecting different results. It does, we're all religious scientists. We're too smart to keep doing the same old stuff forever. But so don't worry, I'm not going to be asking anybody to shout out that you're mad as hell and you're not going to do this anymore. But we got to get to a point where we're sick and tired of it, right? Where we really want to change. And some of you are already there. Some of you are longing for more. Some of you really want a bigger life, a better life, and you can have it. You can heal your life. In this class, or this particular class is for people who've come to a point where they're sick of some of the scenarios that have been playing out in their life for what seems like too long, where things keep happening over and over again. So this is a class where we really want to release those patterns. We want to identify them. When it comes to personal sharing, you might say, I have a pattern that I want to release. You don't need to tell us what it is. You can if you want to, but the more important thing is you identify it and you get real clear about whatever pattern of thought it is that you want to release once and for all. We learn here over and over again that the point of power is always in the present moment. So you can do this. You can heal your life. You can release whatever pattern it is. We also learn that it's up to us. If not you, who's going to do it? If not you, who will heal your life? See, I used to think someone from up above was going to scoop down and just save me. And I operated under that theory for a while. And then I started to realize it's not going to work that way. I encountered a religious science practitioner who told me I was a child of a lesser God. And I used to pray a lot when I was in trouble. And she said, Greg, you've got a better deal going here. She said, you know, the universe so loves you that it responds to your every single thought. So what we need to do is we need to start thinking properly. We need to start thinking of ourselves in more generous ways. We need to become more loving towards ourselves and learn to extend that to other people without trying to control them. You are a being of love and light. And the first thing to do is wake up and realize I am that. I'm one with that. I am that. I am a being of love and light. And then with that knowledge, everything starts to get better. Because you can extend that. Once you know that about yourself, you can extend that love and light to other people. A lot of your burdens just dissipate because in the light of the truth. So who's going to heal your life? Hopefully you realize it's you. It's always up to us. We're each 100% responsible for our lives. We're not to blame for anything. We've always done the best we could with what we have known. And we're not blaming other people either. So what we're teaching here has nothing to do with blame. It's about the law. It's about understanding that life responds to us. What we give out hour by hour comes back to us day by day. This is how the universe works. This is how life responds to us. If you're not one of the people who's mad as hell or disturbed or upset or wanting something much better, that's probably because you're in the teaching, you've done some work on yourself. Maybe you've been practicing here. Maybe you are now at a place where you realize that things are really starting to get better because you're living, again, the affirmative life that we talk about. So this class is designed tonight for anyone who wants to take this teaching to a deeper level. For any or all of us who realize that we're standing at a turning point right now. It's for those of us who understand that this is a turning point. It could become so much better if you really want it to be. And it's for those of you who know that life is going to unfold according to your directives, according to your deepest beliefs. It's going to say yes to whatever you truly believe. And it's done unto you as you believe. Why? Because it has to. Life has to respond to you affirmatively. It has no choice. If you're a constant worrier, life is going to respond to your constant worry and your fears. If you are a perennial optimist, life is going to respond to your optimism. Please, please understand that the universe is always saying yes to you. I have a story, a short story, the turning point for Jane. Let me tell you about Jane. Jane was someone who always seemed to find herself in bad relationships filled with pain and anguish. If you knew her, she was always describing her relationships as being toxic or painful or bad. No matter who she spoke to or how hard she tried to choose better situations, better partners, in just about every case, she ended up feeling defeated, used, betrayed, heartbroken. Jane's pattern was so ingrained that she began to believe she was unworthy of any type of genuine relationship. One day, after yet another painful separation, Jane reached what she called her breaking point. We'll call it a turning point. She was sitting alone in her apartment, surrounded by reminders of her failed relationship, streaming with tears. And she said in so many ways, I'm so upset with myself. I'm mad. I'm upset. I'm not going to do this to myself anymore. In that moment of desperation, she realized something really profound. She had been repeating the same pattern 4 or 5 times that she could count because she hadn't healed the part of herself that felt unworthy of love. She didn't feel worthy of a person who would really treat her well or special. It occurred to her that all the types of people, all the good kinds of people, she pushed away. She wasn't interested in them. And that was her turning point. Jane decided it was time for her to look within and really have a conversation with herself and to make some important changes. Jane started to practice this teaching, listening to as many Louise Hay classes as she could and practice affirmative living, beginning with daily affirmations, looking at herself in the mirror and saying, I love, accept, and approve of you. Repeating it often, releasing the negativity, telling herself, I'm enough, just the way I am. Jane forgave herself for past mistakes eventually, and she began to embrace her imperfections with a certain compassion. As Jane continued her journey, she noticed her life began to gradually shift. Things became lighter. She became more confident, and she started to attract healthier, more fun people into her life. Her inner transformation led, what do you think, to outer changes. Things began to lighten up energetically, and she had no desire to control or to be controlled. Jane was learning to trust the process of life, and day by day, she found herself surrounded by interesting and loving, positive people. Her story is a testament to the power that we all have to break free from destructive patterns. It's a reminder that even in our darkest moments, we have the power to turn it around, to start again, and to create a life filled with joy and happiness. This class is to assist any of you who are dealing with repetitive patterns that just don't seem to go away. Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? Good, because the will of the universe is for you to be whole, happy, and to thrive. Remember, the point of power is always in the present moment, so you can do this. Doesn't matter if you had 1,000 yesterdays that were horrible. Today can be a new day where it all can turn around. And today in this class, you have the opportunity to take that power back. So take it back. Let's start this journey together and embrace the transformative teaching of Louise Hay. Here are today's affirmations for you that you might want to practice. So I've got a few you can jot down, or you can repeat after me. I'm worthy of love and respect. I'm worthy of love and respect. I forgive myself for past mistakes, and I embrace my imperfections. Once again, I forgive myself for past mistakes, and I embrace my imperfections. Next, I'm in control of my thoughts and actions. I am in control of my thoughts and actions. 4, I release the need to please others at the expense of my own well-being. It's a good one. I release the need to please others at the expense of my own well-being. And I have one more. I am capable of achieving my goals and my dreams. And I repeat it. I am capable of achieving my goals and my dreams. I've got a brief guided process for you, so you might want to close your eyes, or at least partially close them. So let's close them for a moment. Let's take a deep breath together. And in your mind's eye, imagine a bright light within you. Imagine this light deep at the center of your being, representing your inner power and your potential. Yes, it's deep within the center of your being, this infinite light. With each breath, feel this light growing stronger and brighter, filling you with warmth and confidence. Know that you have the power to break free from any negative pattern and create the life you desire. Take another breath, and as you exhale, release any doubts, any fears. Breathe in. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a beautiful, serene ocean. The waves gently wash over your feet, symbolizing the cleansing of old habits and patterns. With each wave, feel a sense of release and renewal. Now, visualize a path ahead of you, illuminated by the light of your inner power, your inner wisdom. This path leads to a future where you are free from the chains of past behaviors. Walk down this path, feeling lighter with each step, knowing that you are moving towards a life of positivity and fulfillment. As you walk, notice the beauty around you, the vibrant colors of the flowers, the soothing sounds of nature. Feel a deep sense of peace and contentment washing over you. With each step, affirm to yourself, I'm worthy, I am enough, I am powerful. Stay in this peaceful state for a few moments. Embrace the feeling of empowerment and possibility. When you're ready, take one final deep breath and gently open your eyes. Thank you for joining us in this journey of self-healing and transformation. Remember that you have the power within you to change your life, to heal your life. The teachings of Louise Hay and the Science of Mind provide us with the tools and the affirmations to guide us on this path. Let's continue to support each other and embrace the power of positive thinking. Now I'm about to turn the cameras over to all of you in our gathering. Everyone's going to have at least a couple minutes for sharing. As always, we ask the question, what has it been like being you this week? Please share your thoughts and your comments on anything that came up for you in the lesson. We're looking forward to hearing from everyone who wants to share your insights and experiences enrich our entire community, and they provide support for one another. So thank you.